because I'm in character for some of my show, I can tell the audience to shut up in character because I have my office, not the dull coworker, I have another office character who's really like condescending.
Oh, please explain.
So yeah, like if people are talking, I'll be like, sorry, who's talking? Is that you? Okay, we need to stop that. Yeah, cut it out. Yeah, like I can just be like, and everyone laughs because I'm in character, but I'm literally saying like, shut up.
We're delighted to announce our newest partner for Legends with Bevo. A big welcome to Ancora National. Ancora National are an incredible organisation with passionate staff that are all about giving people living with a disability a better life by helping them to find employment. They believe that everyone is deserving of living a fulfilling life with no one left behind, and they provide a range of support services to people living with a disability. To find out more, go to their website, ancoranational.com.au. Well, what a pleasure it is to have the man himself, Nick White. He's here for his third Fringe, and his show is called I'm Scared Babe. He's going gangbusters around the world with his social media, which we'll talk about in a moment, and his alter ego, Carly, the dull office worker. Nick White, great to have you on the show, mate.
Thanks for having me. This is exciting. Hi, everyone.
I'm Scared Babe. Tell us about it. What can people expect?
I'm Scared Babe. Well, it's just a show about anxiety, which is relatable, right? More specifically, it's about health anxiety because I'm a pretty bad hypochondriac. And then I have been like my whole life. And then last year I got a message from a stranger on Instagram that just like made me spiral with my anxiety. And then I was like, why not turn this into, let's profit off this. So I wrote a show about it. And yeah, it's just about anxiety. It's just, I don't know. I like to just laugh about, things that aren't fun or things we go through that suck. Yeah. It just feels better. And it's like releasing stress and releasing just the seriousness of it. So yeah, it's just about anxiety. And then my character, Carly, the dull coworker,
yeah,
she does about 10 minutes up top because she's getting married. Well, I'm getting married soon. So I just run through some of my wedding ideas with the audience because I'm stressed about that. So I'm scared babe too. So yes. So yeah, that's what it's about.
So good. Where'd the idea of Carly come from? Because I've worked with some interesting, some very dull and very out there co-workers.
Yeah.
And you've come from an architecture background. We'll get to it in a moment. But yeah, where'd the idea come about for Carly?
Well, my friend Tilly Oddie Black, who's a content creator as well, we used to just have these characters we do together called the normal people, and they were co-workers, and I was Matt and she was Kate. And they were just, like the normal people you'd hear in the staff room where it's like, yeah, my partner and I went to a really nice microbrewery and this one ale was a bit more hoppy. Like just those kind of real like conversations you hear and just go, oh yeah, oh cool. And then we became so obsessed with these characters that we kind of delved into their backstories and we came up with Matt's partner who was Carly. And then we became more obsessed with Carly. And then one day I met this person who had this very specific voice and this way of talking. And she was like, just help yourself to a bottle of wine. Well, a glass of wine, I should say. There's a bottle there. And I was like, I think that's what Carly would sound like. So then I just started doing the character and then people, it's not even like making fun of her anymore. People love her and people, like she's people's comfort character. So yeah, it's great. People love Carly. And she's developed since then. She started nearly 2 years ago. So but every character I do, I just become obsessed with them. So Carly has a very rich backstory, and like, yeah, she's still evolving.
Do you think there might be a day where there actually might be a whole show just on Carly rather than the Nick White show?
Oh yeah. I was meant to this year.
Were you?
That was the original plan. Just because I was like, I just want to try it and see what it's like. But then I was touring in the UK last year, and I just started because I think I used to have a bit of a persona when I would do stand-up, like a bit dry, a bit deadpan, but I think the more I perform, the more myself I become on stage. And when I was touring in the UK, I was just doing so much crowd work as myself, and it was so fun. And I remember being like, I don't want to just do Carly, like I love being myself on stage too. So this is the second year where I'm doing Carly opens, and then it's my stand-up show because it's a good balance. It's like the fans get to see Carly because they love her, but I still get to know the audience as myself and talk to them and do my jokes. So
I know you don't want to give too much away, but the actual Nick White show, are you the sort of person that likes to interact with the crowd, get the crowd involved, or you sort of more have like your own material that you just, follow for the whole season sort of thing?
It's changed in like the last, when I was like touring New Zealand and the UK last year. I don't know why, but maybe it's because I was touring with my friend Jess Fuchs, who's a Sydney comedian. She was my opener in New Zealand, and we just had the most ridiculous time. And she does a lot of crowd work, and she opened for me. So then I was just doing more crowd work, and because Carly does crowd work up top, I know everyone's name. So then I just like talked to everyone the whole show. And then by the time I was touring in the UK, because I'd done the show so many times, I wasn't bored of it, but I was like, I just want to talk to these people. But who knows? Like, I'm not nervous for tonight, but I can't relax till I've gotten the first show out of the way to see if it'll be good or not. So I think once I'm more comfortable with this show and I know it works, then I can start having a bit more fun and like talk to the audience. But I used to never do crowd work. It was like, stick to the jokes, no crowd work, because I was just, I don't know, I had a bit of a persona where I was just like really dry, really deadpan, blah, blah, blah. But now I just have fun.
And your material for the past couple of years, before you mentioned the crowd work, where would you get your material from, Nick, generally? And sort of give a bit of an idea in terms of, was it again from those sort of co-workers in the past, or just give us a bit of an idea?
Like stand-up material?
Yeah.
It's always just been what's ever going on in my life. My first solo show was 2 years ago, and that was because it was my first show. It was kind of just a collection of my material up until that point, or my favorite material that I'd written. So that show was called Grow Up because it was a bit of a narrative, because like I started stand-up when I was 24, and then I like got a job and like moved to New York and came out, then moved home. So it was a lot of like jokes that I would just write at that time, which, thread together a bit of a narrative for those years. So it's just always about whatever's going on, but I guess it's more through the voice of whatever on-stage persona I have at the time, and I kind of write the joke from that perspective. But the good thing is now, like, I feel like I'm just really myself on stage, so the jokes just, I really like to think they're just me now.
That's great.
Yeah.
And how'd you find living in New York, and what sort of made you make that decision?
To move to New York?
Yeah.
But I don't know, I graduated uni when I was 24, because I stretched out my degree for a long time.
In architecture?
Yeah, architecture, yeah. So I got an undergrad and a master's, just because I didn't want to work full time. I was like, no thanks. And then I did start working full time, and I was like, this sucks. And then one of my best friends moved to New York. So I was like, maybe I'll move to New York. And then I was like, nah, that's too hard. I'll just move to Melbourne. But then I had a dream that I was hanging out with my best friend in New York. And then I woke up and I was like, no, I'm moving to New York.
That's so good.
So I did. And then I lived there for 2.5 years. But
unreal.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Doing lots of gigs over there as well?
I did a lot when I first got there. And then I kind of stopped for a bit just because like I was really poor. Working at a cafe and just like, it kind of sucked for a bit. So I kind of lost the spark to be performing. But then I started gigging again, and then I came out. So I started doing a lot of like queer mics and shows and stuff. And then I was there for a year of COVID. So I did no gigs for the last year that I was there.
That's a very interesting thing you mentioned before, because obviously the landscape's changed so much with regards to, being gay and lesbian and how accepted it is nowadays compared to back in those days. But how did your family and friends take it when you told them that news? And it must have been a few nerves, coming out as well. And well done to you, because that's a very brave thing to do.
Oh, so, thanks. Yeah. Honestly, my family was so chill. Like, it wasn't a big deal at all. But I didn't come out till I was around 25, until I was living in New York. Because, I don't know, I was living in Brisbane, and I was just kind of like, I don't feel ready yet. And I was like, I'll just come out once I have a boyfriend. But then it's hard to get a boyfriend when you haven't come out yet. So it's kind of like a vicious cycle of loneliness. Anyway, and then I moved to New York, and I just felt like I could just be myself all the time. And and then then my brother asked me, he's like, are you gay? And I was like, yep. And I was like, you can tell mom and dad. he's like, okay. And then he told my parents, and then they were like, oh, we heard you're gay. I was like, yeah. Like, it was just, my parents are just really chill. So
that's good, mate.
It was great. Yeah.
Yeah. And so they should be, because like I said before, things have changed a lot. And at the end of the day, you're a great person. It doesn't matter.
Oh, thank
you. Good on you. Well done. And obviously you mentioned before the third Fringe now. How have you found the Fringe so far? And how does it compare to, you mentioned before New York and also over in the UK. How does the Adelaide Fringe compare to some of these events you've performed at as well, Nick?
I mean, well, this year I'm performing in the Garden of Unearthly Delights. That's what it's called.
Correct, yep.
I'm always like, is it the I'm like, where is the I know it's somewhere. Yeah, the Garden of Unearthly Delights for the first time. So I'll be able to tell you tomorrow what that's like. But yeah, my experiences in Adelaide so far, it's always hard because it's the first leg of like the tour. So the show's still a baby, but I've had great experiences here. Last year I did the Laugh Lounge, which I think is closed now.
Yeah, I think
on
you're
Rundle
right.
Street. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that was sick. I did 5 shows there. It was, the audiences are always great. But I'm excited because the first year I was at the Gov, I was telling you off air before, which was kind of out of the city. And it was great, but I'm really looking forward to performing in the Gardens tonight just because it's such a buzz. And I have a sick venue. I have the, not the Spiegel tent, the Spiegel something else. Do you know what?
I've only heard the Spiegel tent, so yeah.
Spiegel something in the Garden of Unearthly Delights. And
that'd be a big venue as well. So that's,
it's like 160 or something. And it's like they were telling me today, I did my tech there just before. It was built in 1910.
Wow, that's phenomenal.
Before the Titanic. I was like, what? It's beautiful. Yeah, it's sick. So yeah, I'm really excited to be in the Gardens tonight. It's funny because my show's about anxiety, and at the end of the show, I'm like, and you know what? You don't have to listen to the voice in your head, but all of today, I've just been like, what if something goes wrong? But it'll be fine. I just, I'm always anxious on the first day of a festival.
And it's so awesome as well to see your growth in such a short time, to go from a little tiny place at the Gov, like you mentioned, to now performing in front of 160 people in only a few years, and that's a credit to you. You should be very proud of that, mate.
Oh, thanks. That's so nice. Thank you.
And when did you first feel as though like the comedy thing, when that passion first come about, Nick? Like, were you one of those sort of class clowns in high school, like, or has it sort of changed over time where you've become a funny fella? How's that all work for you?
I think I've always been funny. I remember when I was around 8 or 7 or 8, I don't know, I could do impressions from a really young age, and just like characters and voices and that. And I used to also do drama in primary school, and I used to put on like skits and stuff in front of the class. But then I got really shy in high school and stopped doing drama, stopped doing anything. I was like really quiet. But I always knew I was weird, like in a weird creative way. And I didn't know if it would ever, I was never like, oh, I'm weird, I should be on a stage. I was like, I'm weird, no one look at me. Like, I was really self-conscious. But then when I kind of grew into my 20s and became a bit more outgoing and confident at uni and stuff, I was like, oh, maybe I'll just try stand-up. And I just loved it so much. So yeah, just kept going.
Because I want to find out more about changing careers from architecture into being a full-time comedian, and the challenges, and like you mentioned before, being an anxious person naturally. I want to find out more about that, but we'll take a quick break. We are speaking, of course, to Nick White. And if you do love your comedy, head to episode number 12 with Mark Ryan. Speaking of anxiety, it's a very interesting chat. There's a bit of mental health in that one. So yeah, certainly one to watch for sure. And a special mention now from our sponsors. Huge thanks to Aussie Rules Global for being an amazing sponsor the last few years. And speaking of Aussie Rules Global, if you want to be part of something special next year on Anzac Day over there in Gallipoli, and you're over the age of 18 and you're a male or female, check this out.
The Slugs plan to play men's and women's games here at this soccer ground, the closest to the Gallipoli battlefields during the 2025 commemorations. The idea to make it spectacular, to fill this entire area with Aussie Anzac pilgrims. Vincent Malia tours with the Southern Slugs. Footy, he says, is perfect to honour the Diggers.
They would love it, I'm sure, because it's bringing Australia over there, isn't it?
You made a big call a couple of years ago to go from a career in architecture to, be a stand-up comedian, which is, some people might say crazy and others say brave, but obviously it's paying off for you now. But tell us about that decision, and has there been some challenges along the way where you thought, oh boy, how am I going to survive this financially?
I must say, when I first resigned from my job, it was the scariest day of my life. No, not really the scariest day of my life, but it was scary because it was while I was studying my master's. I remember I was like, I'm gonna be a comedian, like after studying for 6 years. But then it took me 5 years of working full time before I could transition fully to comedy. And yeah, it was scary, but it's funny because it's what I had been working towards for 5 years. But then when the day finally came, I was like, oh, I don't know if I should. It's too scary. Because I was starting to make money from brand deals and stuff like that. But yeah, it was a huge leap of faith. And I resigned and I freaked out. I was at my desk in the office like, oh, why did I do that? I'm so stupid. And I bought heaps of like tins of tuna, tins of soup, like all this stuff because I was like, I'm gonna run out of money. Like, why did I just quit my job that is a good job? But then literally the week I resigned, later that week I landed like 2 or 3 brand deals, which
awesome,
like the biggest ones I had done up until that point. So that was kind of reassuring. I feel like it was the universe saying like, you did the right thing. But yeah, and I just make sure I work really hard because I'm like, I have to, because I work for myself now. So yeah, I must say it's so far so good, but I definitely I probably work too much sometimes. I need to just like chill. I need to relax. But no, it's good. It's good.
But you're doing what you love, and that's what's important, isn't it?
Yeah.
Exactly. And along the way, have you had some, other comedians that have been mentors to you that you like to sort of speak and get in touch with? Some of the older comedians, perhaps, or?
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, I really have like a nice circle of friends / comedians that I collaborate with a lot. They're kind of my support system. But then I'm thinking of mentors. I mean, I'm pretty good friends with Becky Lucas now, and she's given me some good advice. Yeah, and Mel Buttle. Mel Buttle has given me some great advice too. She's awesome.
Some big names there you mentioned.
Yeah, they're all Brisbane people too, which I just realized. But yeah, I'm lucky enough I made some content with Mel last year because she does some characters as well.
Brilliant.
Yeah. Yeah, they're just sweethearts. But yeah, I'm really good friends with Jess Fuchs, who's a Sydney comedian. Met her in New York. She was there for about 4 years. She's great. She's kind of like my rock. We're just like back and forth all day because we just like live and breathe comedy, and just we're both doing it full time now. So it's like,
that's great.
It wasn't really advice. It was just like them being like, you'll be fine. Like it was just kind of more of like a vibe thing. And
well, have they given you tips like, for hecklers? Because that's a...
Hecklers, not really. I feel like you just figure that out yourself.
Have you had some stories with hecklers over the years?
I definitely have. I'm trying to think of some that were like
in the UK, I can imagine it would have been a few.
The UK. Honestly, my audiences in the UK were the best.
Oh, right.
So lovely. No trouble over there.
Well, there you go, comedians. If you're watching this, go to the UK.
Yeah, they're great. The audience, my audiences there were so nice. I'm trying to think of, I think there's a few times, well, the good thing is because I'm in character for some of my show, I can tell the audience to shut up in character because I have my office, not the dull coworker, I have another office character who's really like condescending.
Oh, please explain.
So yeah, like if people are talking, I'll be like, sorry, who's talking? Is that you? Okay, we need to stop that. Yeah, cut it out. Yeah, like I can just be like, and everyone laughs because I'm in character, but I'm literally saying like, shut up. So it works pretty well.
That's good.
But my first Melbourne run, 2023, at my second show of my Melbourne run, a girl fainted because she took edibles and like hadn't eaten or something. She fainted twice. She got up to go to the bathroom and then fainted.
Oh my goodness.
And I had to be like, oh, I was like, what's the word? Tightrope walking the line of like, I have to make sure she's okay, but I have to also keep everyone like, invested in this show.
That would be a real tough one for you.
It was, because I was like, I want to be empathetic and be like, are you okay? But I was also like, I can't let this derail everything. So then she left, and then they're like, okay, she's okay. And then she came back in, and she fainted again. And I was like,
oh my goodness.
But I'm glad it happened at the start of my run because I could kind of build resilience from that.
Yeah.
But yeah, bad.
Yeah, that would be a real like good learning curve for you, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
So,
it was intense.
yeah. Because like you said, you've got to sort of show empathy towards her, but then the audience have paid for your show as well. So yeah. Yeah, tough one.
Yeah, it was tricky.
Hey, let's get back to the early days, Nick. And gig number one, where was it and how'd you go? And you mentioned before being, naturally an anxious person. There we go, trying to get words right. Must have been a few nerves before gig number one.
Oh yeah. Well, gig number one was Raw Comedy. Raw Comedy, the stand-up competition?
Yes.
Yeah. And I just entered it without telling anyone. I was 20. And I was so scared. I kind of blacked out. I did okay, not that good. I didn't progress to the next round, so mustn't have been that good. But I was terrified. But then I didn't do another gig till 3 years later. I did Raw again.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but for those 3 years, I'd always be like, yeah, I've done stand-up. Yeah, it's pretty hard, but I did it. And
wow.
It was 5 minutes. But
so
yeah.
that's in itself, that's a very interesting thing. So what made you, after 3 years, decide to want to give it a go again? Because that is a big break.
I was studying architecture. I was in my second year when I first did it. And then I moved overseas for 6 months. And I was just like studying a lot. I just had a lot on, I guess. But then when I was 23, when I had just started my master's, I was like, I'm going to enter again. So I entered Raw again. And then I got to the semi-final. And then that's when I decided I wanted to be a comedian after 3 gigs. And then when I finished my master's at the end of that year, in like November, I started doing open mic. So I started consistently gigging when I was like 24. Yeah.
Unreal. Yeah. And I want to talk to you now about social media because you're going absolutely gangbusters on Instagram and TikTok and your videos are so good. Make sure you check them out, people that are watching this episode. The ideas behind them, are they through friends or something? Where do you sort of come up with these ideas of like the doctor and the shopping centre and that sort of thing? And
I don't know. Because I've done characters since I was like 7, but then a lot of it is just based on who I'm hanging out with. Like I used to live in Sydney, so I lived, my friend Tilly lived down the road. I just like being silly with my friends and whatever props I have around me. Like if I had this to myself right now, I'd be like coming up with so many weird characters at like this desk and like, I don't know. I don't know. I just like to make fun of everyone. And then just kind of comes to me like the doctor reception one. I think I was just at my friend's house and her laptop was out and she had like the card for something and I was just like, yep, so that's for you. And like, I don't know, just being silly. Really.
Do you know, it is so true though, mate, because I went to the dentist a couple of weeks ago and literally have to wait 12, sometimes 18 months before you can book an appointment in. It's absolutely insane.
I feel so bad when I go to the doctors now because I make fun of doctor receptions so much. And I walk in, I'm like, hi, I'm here for my appointment. They're like, yeah, we know. I'm like, oh, sorry. I was just kidding. Just a comedian, just joking.
Have you been in a situation before where you've say been in a shopping centre or somewhere else where someone said, no, you can't film here?
No, I usually just film wherever I want. But when I was at Mona, the art gallery in Hobart, with my friend Sez, who's a comedian as well, because I was touring in Hobart and Sez was my opening act. And we were just like, we had a day off before we had to fly home. So we went to the art gallery just for fun. And then this guy pulls us aside and he's like, just letting you know, the media team are aware that you're here. Okay, we're aware you're here. I was like, okay. And he's like, just letting you know, if you post anything, you need our permission first. And I was like, why? He's like, because a lot of the artwork is trademarked. I was like, well, have you talked to everyone else here today? Because I'm sure they're going to post stuff too. He's like, yeah, but you can't post it to your monetized channel. I was like, what do you mean? Like in Australia, we don't make money from posting on Instagram or TikTok unless it's like a brand deal that contracts are signed and stuff. I'm like, I'm not working with you guys. I can do what I want. Yeah. And I just kept being like, what do you mean? I don't think you know what you're saying. And he didn't. He's like, oh, well, just letting you know that we know you're here. I'm like, what does that mean? It was disappointing because we were just trying to have a nice day off. And in front of everyone, he's like lecturing us. And we're like, what's going on?
And you're probably not going to want to go there as well again.
I'm never going there again.
And it's actually a nice place as well, which is really disappointing.
It was disappointing. And then it was just like, we're just trying to have a nice day. And then we just felt like we're in trouble. And that's what he started with. He's like, you're not in trouble. I was like, I'm 31 years old. Don't talk to me like I'm in high school. Like, what the hell?
Yeah.
So that sucked. But other than that, I try to be respectful when I'm filming in public. I'm not just going to run around and I get permission if I'm like, well, I'm lucky though. I've done some fun brand deals where I like my character Carly like worked at the Hilton. So I got to like be at the reception desk at the Hilton and just like have fun. And I did one I went to, oh, it's actually not out yet, so I can't say. But it was at like a office or something and I just got to like do whatever I want. It's really fun when they just let me do what I want.
That's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what's the reaction of other people, say, in the supermarket and that when you're filming?
To be honest, since I've lived in Melbourne, which has been a year now, I don't film in public as much just because most of my content creator friends are in Sydney. So nowadays I just film mostly at home, but back in the day, no one would really, I didn't pay attention to reactions. I'd kind of just like do it and be like, okay, let's go. Like, I didn't want to like see like, oh, who's watching? I was like, I don't want to know who's watching. Like, let's just get it done and go. But I try to film in quiet parts of the store when I used to film in like Coles and stuff.
So good.
Yeah.
Before we finish up today, Nick, I'll give you a plug for this season and also your socials where we can find you.
Yeah. So my show is called I'm Scared Bad. Adelaide, 8:15 at the Garden of Unearthly Delights. And then I'm also doing Melbourne, Brisbane, Sydney, which are all on sale now. And we are announcing Perth and Canberra this week, I think. So that'll be on sale soon. And Instagram and TikTok, if you just search Nick White, I should come up. And YouTube now, I released my special on YouTube last week. So yeah, check that out. And yeah, I think that's everything.
So good. Well, Nick White, thanks so much for joining us on Comedy Legends of Bevo, mate. Can't wait to see your show.
Thanks so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.